welcome to the Sci-Fi and Fantasy edition of Incoming, the video podcast that takes a look back at my favourite miniature releases from the last 7 days. This show is for week ending the 11th of September 2009, and as always I'm your host Neil Shook. Several very nice releases this week, so let's take a look at what is in my top 10. At number 10 we have a new release from Strange Eon Games. This is their new Werewolf. You're going to have a werewolf in your top 10, haven't you? Though to be honest, this is not a particularly unique looking sculpt in any way, but a nice enough addition. Number 9 we have a new release from Mithril Miniatures, that company from Marland that specialise in 32mm Lord of the Rings figures. This is their latest character model, and this is Durin the Sixth, King of Moria. This is a slightly different take on your normal dwarf that you might be used to seeing from the likes of Games Workshop. A bit more tall than wide, and certainly a bit less facial hair. But Mithril have been known for sculpting collector's miniatures for Lord of the Rings for some time, and I'm a huge fan of dwarves. This is a really nice looking miniature. On to number 8, and this is a miniature company and indeed a game I've never heard of before. The company is Smartmax, the game is called Smog, and this figure is Cornelius Farshalvent. This is a 1/35th scale figure, or 54mm, and as you can see from the figure, Smog is a kind of Victoriana sci-fi setting. And so this is just a fantastic looking sculpt. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Rackham in their heyday, before they went all plastic on us. But I say this is just a beautifully detailed and sculpted figure, and we'll be seeing more from this range later in the show. At number 7 this week we have one of 3 new releases from Fantasy Flight Games for their Descent miniatures game. Now Descent is a dungeon bash kind of RPG style sort of game, and their most alleged expansion includes several lieutenants. And they've been releasing metal miniatures for these for some time. This is the 3rd wave of releases, and this is my favourite, which is Dar Hilsenod. Sculpted by Cypher Studios, the guys who sculpt the Anima Tactics figures, and this is just a great looking beastie, isn't it? At number 6 we have a new release from Drupada 9. This is in their Heavy Gear Blitz range, and this is the Alamein Battle Tank. Now in a lot of ways this is a fairly standard looking sci-fi tank, but the one thing I really liked about this kit is that it comes with a set of customisable parts as standard. So rather than just making one kit, you can actually make 2 or 3, and here we've got a couple of examples. You can change the turret weapon options to make the Hardy Ala, or use some additional turret accessories, add-ons for missiles and extra guns to make the Naval Support Ala. Great idea from Drupada 9, and overall a pretty nice looking tank. At number 5 we are back to dwarves, and we have another new release this week from Reaper Miniatures. This is from Reaper's Dark Heaven range, and this is Holgriff the Dwarf Barbarian. A slightly more feral looking dwarf than what we're used to, but back to the slightly more classic look of 28mm miniature dwarves. Certainly another great dwarf character figure. At number 4 I'm featuring a second set of new releases this week from Cypher Studios. This is for the Anima Tactics game. The game they've released 3 new figures this week, and this is my favourite of those. This is Belith. And let's face it, you always got to leave room in your top 10 for a scantily clad female with a flaming sword, haven't you? I've not really been keeping an eye on this range before, but some very nice looking sculpts coming out of Cypher Studios. Into the top 3, at number 3 we have the latest release from Microart Studios. Now these are the guys that have the license to produce characters for the Discworld series and Terry Pratchett, which has got to be my favourite series of books. These are new greens just released. They're listed as the Beggars Guild, but we actually believe they're actually the Canting Crew. They're actually incorrectly labelled, and these include such great characters as Foul Old One, Duckman, and Gaspo the Wonder Dog. I've not always been fully convinced with Microart's interpretations of the Discworld characters, but I think these are a really nice set, and are certainly a great addition to the range. At number 2 we have Sci-Fi Cowboys. This is a new release from Freebooter Miniatures. This is their Doc Taranto figure. Now, Freebooter are a German company, and all the figures are sculpted by Werner Klock, who's quite famous for several of the Reaper minis that he's previously sculpted, to say the least. And this guy is such a talented sculptor. And this figure's a great blend of Wild West and science fiction. A great looking sculpt. And talking of great looking sculpts, number one this week was just superb. This is going back to the Smog range from Smartmax, and this is Mystical Knot. Again, 54mm, 1/35th scale, and I just love the look of this figure. Victorian lady with a kick-ass sci-fi weapon. Looks like something that's walked straight out of an episode of Doctor Who, or the pages of a Jules Verne novel. And it's just a fantastic looking miniature. Been on the steep side when it comes to price. I mean, these things are 20-25 euros plus. So whether or not they're actually designed much more as a collector's range, I'm not overly sure. But the Smog range has some fantastic figures in it. Great sort of thing for using for, say, a VSF RPG or something like that. And I'd highly recommend you go and take a look. Some stunning stuff there. And so that's it for my top 10 for this week. I hope you've seen something you found interesting, and if so, check back with me soon. Well, until next week, thank you very much for watching. Take care. I'll see you soon. Bye.